I said go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said whoever got next is fine with us. Go and line them up. That's fine with us. Come and line them up. Fine with us. Fine with us. Line up. I said go and line up. Yes, fine with us. I said go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said whoever got next is fine with us.
Welcome back to Galicia on the northwest corner of Spain. We're into day 3 of racing. Forecast is great once again, 9 to 14 knots probably on the water. We're absolutely on schedule, having done 4 races so far. We should get another 2 away today. Top of the table, American Magic running away with things very, very slightly. Now then, a new face with us here at the Galicia 52 Super Series Royal Cup is Mariana Labato, a Portuguese sailor who's raced round the world. She's got a CV as absolutely as long as my arm. Starting off an optimist, she's sailed just about every class you can think of. We caught up with Mariana this morning. Give us a little potted history of your career getting here into 52s. You've done lots of different things, such a diverse background.
Yeah, so I started on Optimist for 20s, Olympic Games on match racing class, and then GC 32, M32s, NACRA and 49er, Ocean Race, Ocean 50, yeah, a lot.
So what does the 52 Super Series represent to you within that spectrum?
Yeah, it's cool to be back on an inshore class. That is really, you put the adrenaline on top, and I'm learning a lot, so that's pretty cool.
So you're a strategist as well as doing the runner?
Yeah, I'm trying to first learn the boats, and then I can look outside a bit. But yeah, it's cool to have an eye with Laurent Pages as a tactician, so we can sometimes discuss, a bit, and to see what we can do the best of the race.
Simple terms, your French presumably is perfect.
Yeah, so everything is in French, and je dois parler en français tout le temps.
But of course you've done a lot of racing with the French teams before.
Yes, so I've been sailing a lot on French teams, on EMOCA and other classes. So you need to talk in French, otherwise you cannot understand anything.
So you obviously raced on biotherm on the last ocean race. What did you learn from that?
Yeah, wow, a lot. So it was a new boat, a new class for me on EMOCA, and now of course it's good to have a background on as many classes as possible. I think it's completes you as a sailor, so it's good to be now on the TP52, so I can learn a lot more and be a much sailor as possible.
Well, tell us a little bit about the learning curve then on the EMOCA, because you came in with little experience.
Yeah, of course it's different. You are offshore, and in the inshore class, all the details and at every second counts. So it's different. But I have this Olympic background that I really like, and on the match racing, and this is pretty much like match racing. You need to react quick, and it's really interesting.
You're a match racing world champion as well, aren't you?
Yeah, 2013.
Well, it's an incredible career, isn't it? I mean, you're relatively under the radar here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be here, and I'm mom of 3 kids. Yeah, the baby has 10 months now, so I'm really happy. I've been able to keep going and never stopped sailing, and been here at the TP52. It's incredible experience, and I hope I can come back next year.
Tell us about your kids then.
My kids, yeah. Well, I've been training a lot offshore mode because I don't sleep that much at
So
home.
the two things are good, they're intertwined, being offshore and being a mum.
Yeah, of course, it's a balance. Yeah, but of course, it's hard to be able to juggle everything. But it's a good experience, and yeah, if when you really want something, you go for that, and you can achieve that.
What are your ambitions then, still in sailing?
Well, I'm doing the Ocean Race Europe this year with the Paprec Arkea with Johan Richom, and then I don't know. Let's see what the universe will have for me.
So have you started sailing with Johan?
I started in 2021 on the Ocean Race Europe, where on the VO65, and yeah. We know each other well, and yeah, we'll start next week some training on an IMOCA, so we can prepare the ocean race.
So where are you from in Portugal originally?
Lisbon. I live in Lisbon, and normally we sail in Cascais. We have the VO65 as well with the Mirpuri, and yeah, we will be sailing in July, first week of July, the Mirpuri Sailing Trophy on the VO65.
So same time as we're there for the Worlds?
Yeah, exactly. So we don't, Teasing Machine is not sailing the Worlds on the TP52, but I'm also sailing this week, that week on the 65.
Tell us, take us a little bit behind the curtain. What's the Teasing Machine team like compared to other teams you've sailed with?
Wow, it's a good question.
Careful now.
Yeah, well, first time I sailed with Team Teasing Machine was 22, I guess, some offshore racing. It was interesting to see how I could join, integrate the team, and but they are really cool, and it really helps me to learn and to test everything on board. So it's really good to a really good team, so I can improve. And sometimes when you are on other teams, the feeling is not the same. But I'm really happy with Team Teasing Machine, so I can yeah.
What would be advice to the young Mariana Labato or young female sailors now in this day and age?
Yeah, I know it's really hard to have the opportunity to jump on board, so you can have the experience and try to learn something. But never give up. Try always to step on board and help the team and be humble.
Learn lots of languages.
Yes, and if you can speak English, French, Spanish, it's really Portuguese, it will help you a lot, yeah.
So from a new face in the 52 Super Series, a mother of 3 kids, really at the top of her game, we're joining Terry Hutchinson, a slightly older face, but very wise individual.
It's exciting to see our potential in it. You know that we're only kind of scratching the surface. Really, you know, the work that Sarah's doing with the instruments and with the navigation inside, and the racing navigator, how she's developing. It's awesome to see. Lucas is doing a great job trimming the mainsail. I mean, stepping in for, Warwick Fleury. That's no small ask, and we're so lucky that he's as good as a sailor as he is, because he slides into it. He's supported really well by Sean, and Coach is on us all day long about our setup. And so the exciting part of the new team members on the boat is it reinvigorates all of us to make sure that we're dotting every I and crossing every T and not lulling ourselves to sleep. And I think that, as I think about it and reflect on it, the challenge of people that have experience on the boat is maybe you don't work as hard. And the great thing about our team is that everybody's keen to work hard and keen to get good results. So that makes each day a new challenge. There's a great song that Axl Rose sings.
Go on.
Little Guns N' Roses, just a little patience. And so whenever Victor's picking up my anxiety, he'll just say, "Terry, little Axl Rose here." So it's a good little reminder of what we have to, what you have to do. And the subtleties of it are sometimes it's a baseball back to the face because something happens and you just it kind of takes the wind out of your sails. But you look at how the fleet's sailing, and pretty much every race is somebody else's race, and so we're going to just keep working away at it and see where we land.
Give us a little insight into the dynamic between you and Victor. It's interesting to watch when we're on board with the onboard cameras.
Yeah.
Just the subtleties of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a we're both in challenging spots because they won last year. And so, they won with Victor doing tactics, and he's an incredibly talented sailor. And so I raced against him all winter long, and the scorecard does not reflect well for me. So I'm glad we're on the same team. And the challenges that we have here are learning how to talk to each other, learning how, he's been a tactician pretty much all his life. And so being a strategist is a different role because he has to think big picture. He has to be accurate with the breeze. He has to be concise how we communicate. And so like the last couple days, and we've taken leaps and bounds steps, and I appreciate the work that he's doing because it is very our results are a direct result of the feedback that he's given.
Let's tell us then a little bit more about that, just in terms of how he's delivering the information, when you want it, and things like that, at what level.
Well, you might find this hard to believe, but I can be a bit prickly.
Exactly, that's why I'm asking.
So,
It's quite interesting because they say we do see in the onboard cameras, sometimes Victor's just keeping his head down, sometimes he's giving information, so
and
that's presumably developing.
Yeah, and it's very deliberate.
Yeah.
And so he'll say, "Are you ready to talk?" And I'll say, "Give me 30 seconds," and then I'll say, "Okay, I'm ready." And it's very deliberate communication. And yet, what we've seen over the last couple of days is, and then from Saint-Tropez to here, the evolution of deliberate is becoming more streamlined and more natural. But that's kind of the neat thing about all of it is that you have to work at it. How Harry and I talk, how Doug and I talked at the last regatta, how Harry spoke to Victor and I at the last regatta, and now he's steering the boat. How Sarah's integrated into her role, how Lucas is doing his role. I mean, it's all these little things that keep us working and pushing ourselves each day.
So that's Terry Hutchinson. Now a look at the weather with Adam Bischel, the coach of the sled team. So Adam, how's the weather looking for today? We're going to get 2 good races, I hope.
Yeah, we should definitely get 2 good races away on time as per schedule. For us, we're lucky our forecast man, our Australian man Clouds, he started the forecast with he's finished his eye surgery and he's still alive, so that's a real big bonus for us. That,
and for a lot of other people.
And for a lot
particularly
of
him.
Yes, a lot of other people. And we're looking at a really nice sailing conditions wind-wise, like anywhere from 9 to 18 knots potentially today. Relatively stable in direction.
What direction?
Sort of looking from anywhere from 190 to 210, maybe 220 at the most, but should be very, locked in around the 200 course axis.
Best day yet?
Best day... Well, barring the practice race day, which was actually really nice breeze, it was 17 to 21 knots. It should be pretty exciting conditions for everyone, and it'll even everyone out, sort of thing. It'll be less big shifts. So,
Well, we've got you then. What's your role and what do you contribute as coach?
A lot of it's not just coaching, it's also just the whole team dynamics, bringing everyone together and getting on the same page, your strategies, all of that, and then also obviously the tune-ups, just the rig setups, the sail setups, just trying to get the boat going at its best when it launches into its pre-start basically, and then keep making sure everyone's on their toes tactically after that.
Cracking the whip.
Cracking the whip, yes. It's not always easy.
But a key point is actually this is Mr. Akura's first regatta then, isn't it? He's back, and so it's quite difficult for him.
Yeah, it is. It's been 8 months since he last stepped off the boat in Valencia last year. So it's a big ask to jump back in when everyone else has already done an event and done their training leading up to it. So it's a hard to jump straight in and be on the money with that. But he does a very good job when he does do it.
He's enjoying it.
Yeah, he I think he enjoys the atmosphere of the event itself and the people. So and the more he shows up, the more we know he's enjoying it.
So yesterday, a complicated day. Let's have a look at the highlights. Welcome back to beautiful Galicia here in the northwest corner of Spain. It's a light breeze morning. Top of the table at this Galicia 52 Super Series Royal Cup is American Magic Quantum Racing. Good day for Allegra yesterday, lying second by a single point, and right behind the new Italian debutants on Alcedo had a good day as well. Let's hopefully get some breeze and have some good racing here in Galicia. Small delayed breeze does come in, 6 to 7 knots on the start line. The wind axis is 250 degrees. 4 boats closed out or just mistimed the start with a big shift, but off the start line will actually Alpha Plus come away quite nicely. They get the early lead, but at the approach to the top mark, Teasing Machine come in with a good shift from the left and lead round the top mark, with Alpha Plus second, American Magic third and Phoenix in fourth. Phoenix get through American Magic on the next round, but through the finish line it's a win for the French team on Teasing Machine. Alpha Plus get second, Phoenix get third, and in fourth place American Magic extend their lead at the top of the regatta standings. So very slightly less wind for the second race of the day, race 4 of the regatta. Off the start line it's fairly even. Provezza over the line have to recross, but American Magic starting solidly. Round the top mark is American Magic leading from Paprec, with Alpha Plus just behind in third, Value in fourth. And down the run it's fairly even, but American Magic lead through the leeward gate with Alpha Plus second, Paprec in third. Up the second beat, a nice recovery from Alcedo. They come in from the left with a left shift, but really the key move is down the final run. Well, American Magic really are away. Paprec stay out to the right and come in with some speed. So through the finish line it's a win for American Magic. Paprec, their patience pays off, getting through for a second. Alcedo Vitamina, a nice recovery for a third, and Platoon Aviation get fourth. So after 4 races and day 2 of the Galicia 52 Super Series Royal Cup, first are American Magic on 9 points, second Alcedo Vitamina on 17 points, and third Paprec on 19 points. So there we go, and American Magic Quantum Racing going onto the water with an 8 points lead at the top of the table here at the Galicia 52 Super Series Royal Cup. And our live images tell the story of the day just now. You could not really imagine a more or a bigger contrast with Saint-Tropez. It's rugged, it's grey, a little bit cloudy, a few spots of drizzle, but the good news is the breeze is in and we should run 2 good races pretty much back to back. Louise Vancer, how's it looking out there? Are you warm enough?
Andy, I took again all my clothes and I put them all on because it's freezing cold out here. Oh my god, I hope you have a great time in your office. It's wild out here. Clouds, rain, like they still have some sea fog, like pretty good sailing conditions, to be honest. I feel like at the coast of England, so we really have proper Atlantic weather here. Perfect for the boats, to be honest. I think they're like full powered up all. I wonder what sails they use. Probably gonna be like a J3 or J2.5 for the jib. So they don't go for their smallest sails, but almost smallest sails here. And we have a big ocean swell rolling in as well. We had it already the last days, but it got bigger. And then on top of each long swell, we have some more smaller waves, so quite choppy as well. So I expect some great races, Andy. Lots of things going on because we have the clouds, and the clouds actually bring wind. So they're a different kind of cloud. Sometimes they suck in the wind, so they steal the wind, but these kind of clouds, they bring wind. So many things the sailors have to watch out here. Also the wind direction of 210. This is where currently the upwind mark is. We should get like a convergence at the left shoreline. That means we might get a little bit more breeze on the left side and also left shift probably, just because of geographics. So a lot of things to think about, because I see also some clouds on the right side, a little bit more fog on the right side as well. Not an easy day, but great sailing conditions out here, Andy.
Indeed, though Adam Bishel making the point that it might be, breeze should be a little bit more settled in terms of the shift pattern, and it should be a little bit easier to predict. He said that it should even things out a little bit, perhaps in terms of points. Let's have a very quick look at the circuit standings for the moment after 4 races here. Well, American Magic are well clear at the top of the table. Sled in second on 42. Paprec, the French team, going really nicely this season so far. A long way to go, but they're in third. 42.5 points. Alcedo Vitamina not too far behind. And so it's great to see some new names up near the top half of the table. Alpha Plus there as well. Value, then 7th Allegra, 8th Prevezza, Gladiator, 9th Gladiator of course not here. Platoon Aviation down in 10th at the moment. But a point to make is with 63 points at the moment. Actually, Platoon Aviation were further behind at this point last year, and they came in and lost the circuit's title by just a point back in Valencia. So all is certainly not lost for the German team on Platoon Aviation, but they do need to start pulling in some top 4 results over the rest of this regatta for sure, and certainly building confidence. We saw them doing a little bit better in the second race yesterday. But Louise, a more even race course perhaps, and a little not quite as complicated as yesterday.
Definitely, Andy. I think yesterday was quite difficult with these light breeze, bigger shifts. So it was a bit funky, tricky, like not so predictable. Today is a lot easier in these terms because we have a more stable breeze. But I still expect some shifts, obviously a lot smaller than yesterday. But this is a gradient wind, so it's never just locked in one direction. I guess we probably have like a 10-degree shift range or something. So still something you want to consider and think about. But we have strong winds, so you want to avoid maneuvers. You want to go fast, and if I would need to bet on one line, I would go to the left, Andy.
I would go to the left. I'll go to the right then, Louise, just to be contrary. But breeze, wind strength, we've got about 16 knots, something like that on the water at the moment. So it's already quite fresh.
Oh yes, the wind is on, and I think this is so nice for the boats because they will start planing on downwinds, so they will go super fast, and then especially with the wave pushing them from the back, they will really be able to put the bow out. We will see all the spray, same on the upwinds, but there will be a lot of pressure as well on the helm, like on the rudder, so not that easy, especially for the crew, to sail these boats accurately and to avoid big mistakes, Andy.
Indeed, so we're at just coming up to 1 minute to go before the start, looking at the line, how things are shaping up. It looks quite even, Louise, in terms of the way the boats are settling in on the start line. Not quite the solid cluster at the committee boat end of the line that we saw yesterday. We see Sled in the foreground just now, bow number 5. Phoenix just above them, Alpha Plus putting their nose in between them and Prevezza. And Di Soriano there up closer to the committee boat end of the line. And then a whole little group of boats holding back slightly for the moment. But in the end, nobody really pushing down to the right end for the pin. But Sled going time and distance for the left side of the group. We're at 15 seconds to go. One boat right out the back, I think, is Value. Not sure what's going on with them. Yeah, penalty for Value, we believe. And also a teasing machine quite late. A good start, really, for American Magic. Clear start otherwise. So the best start, I think, with American Magic. Prevezza also lined up nicely. Just to weather of them, we see bow number 2, which is a Platoon Aviation. Prevezza going well. Phoenix just to leeward of Prevezza. Allegra tack off to the right early on. Teasing machine getting themselves settled. Alpha Plus just a little bit late off the line. So we believe Value had a penalty, so they're playing catch up from the off. Louise, your thoughts on this start?
Andy, I was at the pin end, so unfortunately I could not see what exactly happened to Teasing Machine and Bayou. I think we will find out later and then can report. But I really like the start of Platoon, Paprick and American Magic. They're out of the middle right in full pace. That's a great start. Then you have the options. You could tag to the right side if you like to, but you can also continue. But also the start of Sled, you know, like just there on the left, free, clean, on your own timing. It's not a bad start if you're committed to the left side. We'll see at the end if it's the left side or the right side. I think the boats will avoid to make maneuvers as they really slow down. So I guess this fleet will get spread out quite fast on each side.
But at the moment, it's a little bit of a drag race off the line. As you said, Louise, Paprick going very nicely. Had a good day yesterday with a second in the second race. Now Sled in the foreground, filling our frame now. As Adam Bichel pointed out in our preamble, this is Mr. Akura's first regatta since last season, and he does like the breeze, so here's hoping they're in 6th at the moment. But American Magic pretty solid, a pretty decent lane. They're not being troubled at the moment by Paprick to weather. On board with the French team, Cedric Chateau on the helm. Sticking with the bare feet even in this breeze. They're just to weather of Platoon Aviation. Talk to us a little bit about Sled's position at the moment, Louise. What do they have to do? They're pinned by the boats to weather.
Sled for me is having a little bit more of a faster pace than Phoenix, that is just windward on top of them. I don't know exactly if it's that the pace they want to go for or if they just can't match the height of Phoenix. But it's not too bad, because if you want to go for the left side and you expect the conversions I spoke about before earlier, then there's nothing wrong about going as fast as you can to the gain you're hoping for, and then wait for the other boats to tack, or maybe best moment you can tack and cross. But I think we're gonna need to be a bit more patient for that to see this happening, because the course is 2 nautical miles long. That's super long. Like, you can't see the upwind mark anyways because there's so much sea fog, but in general I don't even think I would be able to see a 2 nautical miles long course. So luckily they have all their intelligent navigators sitting there with their little iPads and being able to tell the tactician and strategist the splits, so how much time it's still to sail on starboard or in port to get to the ley lines, and how much distance they still need to sail to the upward mark, because otherwise this would be pure guessing out here, Andy.
It would be, but as you said, the technology is so accurate now. It's navigators really they're so even in terms of the technology. It's really how you apply the technology and the input from the strategist as well. But at the moment it looks like Sled gaining slightly on that left side, but as Louise said, they're very much investing in the left, waiting for a further gain, so they would expect the gain to come once they tack. But Paprick going nicely in second, got out to the right. American Magic tacking now just a few seconds after Platoon Aviation. But certainly is quite grey and quite lumpy, Louise. A fair bit of chop on top of the ocean swell.
Oh yes, Andy, it's quite choppy here, like everything is shaking and moving and everything is so wet. I'm always taking my little notes here on my wet book, and the wet book is completely wet. So very good conditions for the sailors because this is like fun sailing. The boat is moving fast, the boat is accelerating, and you can do so much now on these boats. And if I see now on the live stream the nice picture, Patrick crossing on port, most of the boats from the right side, this is a great thing for sled. Bow number 05 we can see here in the screen, because that would mean like if they can finally tag once they're free of Phoenix, maybe they will be probably able as well to cross most of the other boats. So these are things the strategist, for example, would have an eye on and tell the tactician which boats are crossing which other boats. Also the navigator might look for these things. So it's always important to have the entire fleet an eye on. And just speaking about the onboard shot we have now of Patrick, or we just had before from Patrick, you could see like one person half hiking, the person that does the runners. And the runners are so incredible in these boats. They basically control the shape of the mainsail and the jib. And I did a little bit of research, Andy, because I was just so interested in them, because the winch is massive. They're so big. They can put so much load on these winch. So what do you think? How much tons? Just make a wide guess they put on these runner winches.
Oh, go on, tell me.
They put up to almost 9 tons on these winches. So how physical is this? And then we have a teasing machine. We have Mariana, a female runner, doing this and grinding the 9 tons on there. It's super heavy to do that. Like, wow, I'm impressed. This is really, really big. If you compare it with an RC44, there you just have like 2 to 3 tons of runner load. But then if you compare it again with one of the Volvo 65s, they put up to 10 tons, or the old America Cup boats up to 20 tons of runner load. So this is an incredible tool all the boats use. It's like a gear shift, you know, if they want to shift more forward, more fast. Super important tool and super crucial position on these boats.
Indeed, I've seen pictures of Marianne in the gym though, Louise, and she's pretty strong. Anyway, quick on board with the Vayu, playing catch up after that pre-start penalty. Working hard. Patrick, though, seem to be our leaders for the moment. Mostly leading out in the right side of the track, going upwind. Just a small correction, we believe that actually it's Adam Bichel who's steering the sled today. We'll get some images, hopefully, that confirm that. However, they are in the frame, as it were, in fourth for the moment. Hiking very hard. So it does look to be Adam. Adam, of course, a former Olympic 49er sailor. But American Magic have a little bit of a jump on this group we're with at the moment, or with sled. But certainly yesterday, yesterday and the previous day, American Magic looking like the full package. Terry Hutchinson saying that really he feels they're still just scratching the surface. So that's pretty ominous, but it's also good to see Platoon Aviation then up in third place just now. Conditions probably a little bit more reminiscent of Kiel than what we're used to on the Mediterranean. But Marcus Wieser steering the Platoon Aviation this week, and also missing Olympic gold medalist and America's Cup winner Jordi Calafat. Strategist is unfortunately not with us this week.
And you can see on the onboard shot from the camera there from Patrick that it's actually raining out here, so you don't really see the boat. So this is like proper wild sailing. I can see a lot more rain now on the right side actually of the course than on the left side. And I think this might be also one of the reasons, on top of the slightly geographical adventure here from the left, why the left side is going so much better now. I think all the boats from the left side will be able to cross the boats from the right side, and they just seem to be pointing a little bit higher, so a little bit more towards the upwind mark. And I can't really tell if they are to go faster, but definitely just by the angle this looks a lot better here. So I think Sled is in a good position here on the top left, and also Patrick and American Magic did super well, coming first over the left and then tacking and going fast. Especially on this port tack, you want to have your free lane and to use all the advantage of your speed.
Indeed, looking at Sled on this left, Patrick furthest out to the right, and as Louise was just saying, the balance of power swapping to American Magic and Platoon Aviation now first and second. Patrick out on that right side looking upwind, but let's see how it goes as they converge towards this weather mark. As Louise said, a 2 mile beat pretty much as long as we go upwind on the 52 Super Series. The leg length very much dictated by the, of course, by the wind strength. Aiming for an elapsed time for each race around about an hour plus or minus a few minutes, and in general that's equates to just around about 15 minutes upwind plus or minus, and a little bit less than that downwind. So Patrick crossing behind American Magic and Platoon Aviation, converging with Allegra. Allegra, I think, will probably just about cross, maybe not. I think they'll tack underneath. But Allegra in the mix in the match today. Yesterday was a little bit tougher for them, a 20-point day for Andy Soriano after lying in second after day one. But we're certainly in the top 4, top 5 just now. Looking a little bit ominous as American Magic and Platoon Aviation move clear out towards the starboard tack ley line. Sled coming in from the left. So American Magic setting up to tack for the windward mark onto starboard. Sean Clarkson there on the runner on American Magic. Yeah, looks like there's a penalty on Phoenix, just having to do their turn. The graphics showing a beautiful circle, of course, but I'm not sure why that was, but not helping them in their battle to stay with the main pack. Certainly a little bit of a fracture between Paprec and Provetza, but for sure that left side coming in, sorry, the right side coming in better. Although Sled converging with the top boats just now. And I think Sled are going to have to duck just behind American Magic. So first windward mark, race number 5 in the GALICIA 52 Super Series Royal Cup. The leaders at the mark are the Regatta leaders. American Magic. So pretty grey and pretty misty and drizzly. What you might expect for this Atlantic northwest corner of Spain. And quite a little bit of swell at the windward mark. But it's American Magic then leading round. Platoon Aviation doing some good work up that beat. And then Sled getting round in third. Allegra, Provezza, Paprick gets sixth. They were really in contention, but ended up on the wrong side. But overlapped with Provezza. Teasing Machine in 7th. Phoenix hanging into 8th just now, having taken that penalty. But it's close all the way through the fleet. Alpha plus 9. Then Alcedo and Vayu, I think, will be 11th, having had that pre-start penalty. So good pace downwind, Louise. American Magic going fast. A little battle up there to windward between Paprec and Provezza. Provezza trying to hold off Paprec. I think Paprec just about coming off better on that one, Louise.
Oh yes, Andy, that was so exciting to watch. Oh my god. I mean, these boats are a little bit more locked in this strong breeze with their angles, to be honest, but Paprick followed Provezza for the set, and they were on it. Like, they immediately pushed, they put this Janaka up and then went for a high mode to roll Provezza, but high mode is high risk in this stronger wind with the waves, as they can't just go as high as they want with the Janaka, because they will flip. I mean, not like my 470, but they will go like in the wind, and then this is a big drama. But they went for it. They really tried to roll Provezza. Provezza tried to follow this, and then all the boats got very, very heeled. It got very, very risky, but they saved it. So Paprick rode Provezza on that one. That's very brave, to be honest, but it's worth it, because here in this fleet you need to fight for every point, so for every boat. And so many things just happened again, like coming into this upwind mark, the left side in the end paid off a little bit. I think Platoon and American Magic were just slightly faster than the other boat, but we saw Allegra and Sled making gains coming in from that left side. And then Phoenix had to do a penalty. They were on port, and Provezza came on starboard, and they didn't keep clear enough, so they had to do a penalty. But now they're back into the game. But also now in this first downwind, we saw another penalty situation between Teasing Machine and Phoenix, and now Teasing Machine had to do a penalty. So the boats are super close together, and you do a marginal mistake and you have to pay so big. It's not easy to control the boats in this wind strength already, so the tactician might want to do something, but then the boat just can't execute it. So it's not a mistake that is always wanted by the teams. Sometimes it's just a execution mistake of the actual idea the tactician had. So difficult here for these boats. It's challenging conditions, but it's so much fun to watch them.
It is so much fun. We're on board with American Magic momentarily as they complete their jibe away from Platoon Aviation, sorry, have jibed slightly earlier. It's Sled who are chasing down. But American Magic have opened out a lead of over 120, 130 metres on Platoon Aviation. I can imagine that's only going to grow in this situation. It's a rich get richer situation at the moment in this kind of breeze, and a big gap really between Allegra and Prevezza. But great images, great sport. Sled there at full pace. One more really fantastic little battle between Paprec and Prevezza. Paprec trying to roll over the top, Prevezza luffing to try and prevent Paprec doing that, but Paprec got away with it and lead only about 20-30 metres in it just now. But on looking at Allegra now coming up, downwind at pace in fourth position, setting up for their jibe. So we have about 19-20 knots of breeze, I'd imagine. Pretty full on. The battle here is between Sled and Allegra, third and fourth, perennial rivals really in this fleet. American Magic though pretty impeccable, great boat handling. But this is probably, or certainly, the strongest winds we've raced in so far this season, I would say.
Andy, this downwind is definitely full on for the teams because it got a bit more gusty, so you really want to be in the pressure because then you're full planing. But sometimes when you're running out of pressure, you stop planing, so then we have big speed differences between the boats. So the team all the time now has to watch out for the pressure. Where is more pressure? But then also we had now this shift, that's why most of the boats jibed. And then you can play with the waves, with the angle, and all this change each time there's more wind. Once there's more wind, you can go lower now in this port jibe, so you catch the wave a bit better, so you accelerate even more. But then when you have less wind, you have to head up a little bit, go a little bit higher. The waves come slightly more from the side, so it's another technique. You have to sail the boat then. So a lot of helming going on there from the helms, but the helm is quite loaded. You can really feel the load in these conditions, especially each time a swell or a wave hits the boat. You can feel this on the rudder, so super interesting. Also the kite trimmers need to do a lot with their kite sheet to ease it, to pull it back in, obviously always supported by their grinders. So this is so nice to watch. I love to see these boats like ripping down here, downwind with the spray coming over the boats. This is beautiful. Victor Diaz de Leon on the ground, just keeping out of the way, but a really nicely executed jibe. A quick look at the lineup for American Magic just now. Harry Melges 4 on the helm, Terry Hutchinson, tactician, strategist Victor Diaz de Leon, Sarah Stone, navigator, Sean Clarkson, runners, Lucas Calabrese in the main sheet, James Dagg on the trimmer, or one trimmer, Ian Liberty the opposite trimmer, Trevor Bird grinder, Luke Muller grinder, Matt Cassidy in the pit, mid-bow is Norm Burge, Greg Gandell on the bow, of course, and Lara Polsek is the floater. Team working at max capacity at the moment, and you see there Sean Clarkson preferring to stay with the shorts and t-shirt, and powering up that runner as Louise was explaining earlier on, but a little bit damp conditions, but great breezes, fantastic sport. American Magic complete their drop then
reaching the leeward turn, first leeward turn, race 5 of the series. They have their kite down and cleared away, coming around the left-hand leeward mark. Really with quite a distance ahead of Paprec. With Platoon Aviation. Platoon round now on also on the left-hand mark, as American Magic did. On the right, we can see Sled. Allegra in 4th, and really there's quite a gap back to 5th place, which was Provezza and I think Phoenix. Actually, Patrick coming in from the left, looking upwind, pretty even with Phoenix. It is Phoenix who will go round the right mark first, ahead of Patrick. Provezza between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, they're right in the middle. In the end, leaving the door open a little bit for Alcedo. Alcedo got round and are pretty much clear. Pretty much. It's close though. Green flag from the umpires, I think. But these conditions really putting the crews to the test, Louise.
Oh yes, Andy, definitely not easy, especially when you're still like kind of new team. You know, usually we don't get this much wind, so the team, they don't get the chance to train so much in the wind. Now we just saw like a little bit of problems from Alpha Plus dropping their kite that I think allowed Vayu probably to get in there in the gap between them and the mark. So it's a bit of a setback for Alpha Plus, but they will fight back. But it's just the conditions. They're challenging, you know, like the wave is so rough. Everything is so wet. It rains quite a lot out here. So it's super difficult now to sail these boats on highest accuracy, which is needed because once the Janaka, for example, is not completely down. Please continue.
No, go on, Louise. I'm just saying the American Magic and Platoon Aviation on opposite tacks, but really nicely settled in these brisk upwind conditions. I wonder whether Platoon Aviation can pull anything back on the Regatta leaders. But certainly good to see Platoon Aviation back in the fight among the top 2, top 3 boats, Louise.
Yes, absolutely. Also, Allegra is back. They weren't so happy yesterday, as you already said. But now they feel more comfortable in their speed. I spoke this morning with Ray Ryan, and he said once they have more than 9 knots, they feel very comfortable. Today we have definitely more than 9 knots. I would say we have up to 18 knots in the gusts, so they will be more comfortable. Platoon Aviation and Allegra have the same hull design. So I'm not surprised. Both boats are doing well today, Andy.
They are indeed. Provezza are not doing quite as well, the newest boat in the fleet, but I think that's largely been mechanicals or as in crew errors or positioning. But for sure the top 2 teams, top 3 teams really have sailed immaculately so far. Paprec hanging in 6th. how's this upwind leg looking, Louise? Much the same as the previous ones. Previous one in terms of the breeze and the American Magic just protecting the left a little bit then, aren't they? Along with
definitely, I think the left side will be again the better side. Unfortunately, I can't see anything on the water than a lot of grey and grey and grey. The water is grey, the air is grey, everything is grey. So it's not easy to see, for example, there's more pressure on the left or there's more pressure on the right, because you can see it just very late. Once the gust is almost hit you, you actually just see the wind. But I would go for what I've learned from the upwind before, so where the left side especially paid off more towards the end of the upwind. So I was happy with the boat stepping out here to the left. I'm just here on top of Allegre, following them a little bit, and I like this. I like what I see, Andy.
maybe sled just caught up with platoon very slightly. Certainly sled team are pushing really hard. But the top four certainly opening out slightly to Phoenix. Back on board with Allegre attacking now. In fourth and really over 100 metres ahead of fifth place Phoenix. So this could be a second win in a row for American Magic, Doug DeVos's team. And this strong overall lead in the regatta. Platoon Aviation lying in 7th. For sure a second would pull them up the table. Get them up probably to 5th. 4th or 5th after this race, if they can hang in there with the second. Very much depends how Allegra fare relative to Phoenix, for example. But yeah, pretty grim conditions for what we used to. For example, the 52 Super Series in the Med in the high summer off Palma. This is the almost the ultimate contrast, isn't it? And that's what it's all about. It's not just about sailing in sea breezes and sunshine, shorts and t-shirts. This is a very different test. But American Magic coming through beautifully. Actually, Platoon Aviation, I think, have probably pulled back a little bit of distance. They were best part of 200 metres before, behind at one point. Alcedo and Vayu having their own little match race out on the left of the upwind in 9th and 10th.
Andy, I think it's interesting that you highlighted again, obviously, that we have different weather here than in the Mediterranean. I mean, not only for the sunshine and the temperatures, but also I spoke this morning with some of the navigators, because I've always noticed this already in my little 470, the difference between, let's say, 18 knots here in north of Spain, super cold Atlantic, and 18 knots in the Mediterranean. They're not the same 18 knots, like not at all. In the Mediterranean it's less, it will feel like less wind than here. 18 knots here in Bayona feel a lot stronger than 18 knots, for example, in Palma de Mallorca, especially when we have these sea breeze 18 knots, and here the strong gradient 18 knots. So that's always so important for the trim team, so for the speed team to notice, but also obviously for the navigators, as some of them calibrate their instruments, so they always go with what they feel, the feeling kind of wind, just to help the team to adjust the sails, because you definitely trim the sails different in 18 knots here in Bayona or 18 knots in sunshine Palma. And also the wind shear, so the difference between the wind we have on top of the mast and the wind somebody is feeling down, so the main trimmer would feel down below the mast, is different, but less here in Bayona, as we have a gradient wind, than, for example, in Palma de Mallorca, where we have the sea breeze. So also this, the navigators adjust in their systems and calibrate.
Indeed, we're listening to, or we heard from Francesco Mongelli explaining how much wind shear there was on day one, but a little bit less today. But it's really all about the air densities, and this cold, damp air is much more dense than the warm, dry air of the Mediterranean. So in terms of, as you say, the sail set and there's crossovers for the different sails, that also has to be taken into account. But really the top four, I think, quite settled in terms of positioning. Interesting, isn't it, when we just reflect that the top, just after the top mark last time out, they had Paprec rolling away or rolling over Preveza, and how much difference there is now with Paprec in 6th now and Preveza in 9th. And one thing, Preveza haven't sailed or haven't raced their new boat in these kind of conditions. We had quite strong breezes at time, or a lot of the time in Valencia, but it was mostly flat water. Nacho Postigo telling me several times in the last 2 months how they're still very, very much learning this boat, which, although they're very much the same family as the previous Frolic design, has some subtle differences. So Louise, presumably you're getting up towards the weather mark. Any improvement in the visibility, or is it as was?
Andy, I can finally see some sailing boats again. Finally, there was a time I could not see anything around me, just grey. But now I see most of the boats again. Some that are more in the back, it's still not visible. But most of the boats I can see again. So American Magic is still in front, I can confirm this. Just about to tack soon, to be then rounding the second upwind mark, followed by Platoon Aviation and Sled. They are all pretty lined up in the same lane. And we will see about the other boats. They're still not super visible, but slowly getting more visible here. And I think especially most of the boats try to approach this last upwind mark again from the left side, Andy.
Indeed, we'll see American Magic quite nicely. Yeah, in the end, I think Platoon Aviation have pulled back about 30-40 metres, but American Magic really are quite comfortable in this, particularly with just the one downwind to go. Should rack up their second win in a row. And as they approach this windward mark with Platoon Aviation to say about 100 or so metres behind, maybe we could have a quick look at the projected standings. Well, we'll do that after the rounding, but yeah. So American Magic then well clear at the second windward mark. It's heading across the offset. Bowman there, Greg Gundell. White sunglasses are missing. It's that kind of day. We don't see that very often with Greg. Platoon Aviation. In second, third will be Sled. Fourth, Allegra. There we see Paprec coming in from the left, just tucking in behind Phoenix. Phoenix were 8th at the windward mark first time up. So making some gains. Andy Horton and Tommy Burnham doing a good job as a tactics and strategist. But it's still close, all to play for with the boats behind. Paprec, Alcedo, Vayu, Prevezza, Alpha Plus, all pretty close together. Few good puffs down the last run could make all the difference. Prevezza then 9th, Alpha Plus 10th, and Teasing Machine in 11th as they all head down bow to stern on this long final run. Still 2 mile leg, 21 seconds between American Magic and Platoon Aviation. Sled almost the same, exactly the same difference, plus or minus a second behind. But really great conditions. Let's have a look, if we can, at the projected regatta standings. If things stay the same through the finish line, if these positions stay into the finish, American Magic would extend their lead to 14 points. Alcedo Vitamina would be second, 24 points. Paprec 25, Allegra 29. Platoon Aviation were not far away, saying they would be in fourth, but they'd be tied with Allegra. Sled in 6th, Value 7th, Phoenix 8th, Alpha Plus 9th, Prevezza 10th, and Teasing Machine in 11th. So things moving in the right direction for Platoon Aviation, and Alcedo Vitamina hanging in there quite nicely in the end in second of that big gap, 14 points, an extra 6 points from for their anticipated win in this race. Louise, American Magic really setting the standard here.
And they just seem to be very fast and across all the ranges. They were fast yesterday, they're again fast today, and they're starting well and then make the right decision, and then yeah, sailing can be easy once you nail down all these 3 things and you're better than your competitors. But Platoon is on their hook. Like, this race is not over yet. The distance is relatively close to these boats regarding the wind strength. A small mistake by American Magic and Platoon can overtake them. Especially, we've seen the downwind already before that it gets a little bit more patchy, so the pressure's coming from the back. That means Platoon Aviation gets it first and then can always make meters good on American Magic. So let's wait until the finish. But also further in the back, I thought it was so interesting to see, like we saw at the downwind gate before, rounding Provezza and Paprick more or less at the same time. And now Provezza unfortunately is more in the end of the fleet, and Paprick still kind of in the middle of the fight. And also Aikido had a great comeback. They were quite in the back of the fleet at the first upwind mark, and now they're back definitely in the mix, so they can still catch up boats, which is great. Also Phoenix had a good comeback, and Alpha Plus and Teasing Machine unfortunately quite in the back of the fleet, but by mistakes unfortunately. So remember, Teasing Machine had to do the penalty, Alpha Plus had problems to drop the kite. So this is also a day where you really just try to avoid mistakes, and you're in the middle of the fleet, like Paprick. Paprick had a great start, say to the left side on the upwind, first upwind, and then is now kind of in the mix, but also just avoiding mistakes.
Indeed, well pointed out there that Aikido Vitamina were round the top mark, first time up in 10th place, up to 7th. They're about 110 metres behind Paprick, so maybe they have to say they're going to expect to finish in 7th. But they're working hard on board, max concentration, even so. A little bit damp, but really, Louise, what a great race. Fantastic sport, good conditions, missing the element of sunshine, but nice, fast, efficient sailing. What did you say,
Absolutely,
Kat?
Andy. I think this is one of the greatest thing of our sport, that it's so wild. You know, we are doing a sport in the nature. We're so exposed to the elements, and today is definitely a day where we can see all of this. I'm now downwind again, almost at the finish line, and I can only see half of the boats.
We did on board overhead with the sled, a seagull's eye view. Big Don Cowie there, trimming the mainsail. So we think it's Adam Bichel steering today. Allegri are to their left, but there should be no contest for third. Sled looked pretty solid, pretty secure.
Ready with a shuffle forward.
American Magic rolling into their jive, just keeping themselves in front of and covering Platoon Aviation, keeping them out to their left, looking downwind. So this will in fact be Platoon Aviation's best result of the season so far at this regatta. They've done 4:10.94, now a second in Saint-Tropez. Believe it or not, their best score was 7th in race 1. So pretty murky conditions. But the good news, Louise, is we have a good solid breeze in. And so we'll get this race done and dusted. We should roll straight into the second one, and it should be a fairly efficient, straightforward day, fingers crossed.
Andy, definitely fast and furious conditions out here, not only because the wind is strong, but also because you can't see anything. So exciting, actually, to see these boats racing here in the wave. And I don't know, maybe there will be still a tight situation coming with Platoon and Sled, Andy. They just appeared out of the mist, and I don't know who will be in front. They're on opposite jibes. Let's see if we can still see a little bit of a battle coming there, Andy.
At the moment it should be Sled about 120 metres ahead, but no mistaking the race leaders have led at every mark on this race number 5. American Magic, steered by Harry Melges the fourth. Terry Hutchinson, as ever, cracking the whip, coming through for their second win in a row to extend their lead at the top of the table and staking their claim for the Royal Cup. Next through, actually, in the end, Louise, you're quite right. Sled not far behind the Platoon Aviation. Sled having a nice final run. Platoon Aviation breathe a sigh of relief, really, probably. But massive credit to Sled coming through, just making some gains down that final run for third. Looking like Phoenix will have picked up a place in the final run as well, Louise. Eighth at the windward mark, first time up, and finishing fourth, pipping Allegra by the looks of things. Paprick in the end are quite a distance behind. So Louisa Paprick will get sixth, but I mean, a great win for American Magic. But what's impressive for me is they have this mix of good speed and risk management. They're not pushing out to any one corner. They're not pushing the risk on the start line, and they are certainly choosing the right side of the course. But they're generally fairly conservative, aren't they?
They are, Andy, and I think this comes with their confidence and speed, because once you're confident in your speed, in holding the lane you want to sail in, you can actually have a more conservative approach, because you know that you can get out of the situations and that you can start in the middle and then pick what side you want to go on. So speed is definitely our friend always. And now let's see, we might get a photo finish between Alcedo and Paprick, Andy.
I think Paprick are just going to get there slightly. They're coming in with more pace in the end. Alcedo just not fully up to speed after their jibe, but Paprick gets sixth, but a good recovery again to mention. Alcedo getting up to seventh. They were 10th at the top mark, first time up. Coming through in eighth, we imagine, should be Provezza. But in fact, it's not. Looking a little bit like Vayu might get there, but no, in the end, Provezza get eighth, then Vayu ninth. 10th, Alpha Plus. And 11th, not far behind the French team on the teasing machine. So an interesting race, a second bullet in a row for American Magic. Platoon Aviation getting their best race result of the season so far with a second Sled also recovering after a modest day yesterday with a third. Phoenix, nice recovery as they were down in 8th at the first mark, getting up to 4th. Allegre probably a little bit disappointed to have gone round the top mark, first time up in 4th and ending up dropping down to 5th. Paprec second at one point, or leading actually, going up the first beat, but ending up with 6th. Alcedo Vitamina also recovered. Prevezza in 8th, Vayu in 9th, Alpha Plus in 10th, and Teasing Machine in 11th. So Louise, what did we learn about that, about this course in this breeze in terms of the favoured side, upwind and downwind?
And yeah, we remember that American Magic and Platoon also just started next to each other at the starting line, from the middle of the fleet, and they seem to be the fastest boat, I think, at the moment in these conditions in the fleet, that allowed them to go a little bit to the left side and then have the free lane out to the right. But in general, they came over the left side and then also crossed the boats that came over from the right side. And Sled probably didn't feel the same confidence in the speed, so they took a little bit more risk at the start. Started at towards the pennant and then converted the gain from the left side actually best. Just missing slightly a bit of speed to stay across American Magic and Platoon, so they were behind them. But wow, what an exciting race. Also then the comeback from that last downwind from Phoenix again. They just kept on digging deeper in the left side when you're looking upwind, so the side they also had to gain from on the upwind, and still managed to overtake Allegre that jibed out earlier. But in general, it's a great race by Allegre, finishing here in the 5th place. They seem to be a lot faster than yesterday, so that's very promising when you have another race ahead, Andy.
Indeed, and what's also very promising is it's only 2 o'clock. We're bang on schedule, having started on at 1, so the second race of the day should come through fairly quickly. Let's look at the rankings then. At the moment then, American Magic, Quantum Racing on 10 points, 14 points up on Alcedo Vitamina, with that 7th for them. Paprec still in 3rd. They're actually 4 points ahead of Platoon Aviation, though Platoon Aviation, we have to say, are heading towards liftoff. In 4th, Allegre in 5th, Sled in 6th, but super close between Allegre, Sled and Phoenix. Vayu also, only 3 points between Allegre and Vayu, so all to play for there. Alpha Plus a 10th in that race, Prevezza 8th in that race, and Teasing Machine unfortunately stuck at the bottom of the table with that 11th place. So that's the standings just now. We're going to take a short break. We should roll into the second race of the day, race 6 of the series. I say, what a great contrast with Saint-Tropez in every sense. We're bang on schedule, and what a great sport we're having today. We'll see you in a few minutes.
I said go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said whoever got next is fine with us. Go and line them up. It's fine with us. Go and line them up. Fine with us. Fine with us. Line up. I said go and line up. It's fine with us. I said go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said whoever got next is fine with us.
Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. You wanna know is how to hold on to it every moment. Dive into it like my love is an ocean. It's overflowing. I swear it's golden. So good that I'm rolling. Baby, you make me crazy. I'm seeing roses. Baby, just maybe you save me. Oh, take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine. Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. You wanna do is move with me, move with me. I'm seeing blue, yeah. In a disco-colored room, hearts are blooming. It's so consuming. Love what you're doing, so good that I'm doomed, yeah. Baby, you make me crazy. I'm seeing roses. Baby, just maybe you save me. Oh, take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. Na, 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 na. I got a good feeling. Na, 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 na.
so musical. In the club you scream. God like gaze, you're so beautiful, but you're not for me. I can't sleep lately. I'm just trying to find peace. Classic melodies. I just wanna be free. I'm sorry, darling, I can't breathe. There's no room for us. There's no room for us. I said, darling, can you see? There's no room for us. There's no room. Now our lives are changing. Promises keep slipping. And I always knew it wasn't you. It wasn't you. Now our lives are changing. Promises keep slipping. And I always knew it wasn't you. It wasn't you. And she said, boys out here coming from a mile away. Not as sleek as you think. DMs early in the AMs. I'm not Becky from the street. All this time, baby, our love was so deep. You can't sleep lately, but what about me? I'm sorry, darling, I can't breathe. There's no room for us. There's no room for us. I said, darling, can you see? There's no room for us. There's no room. Now our lives are changing. Promises keep slipping. And I always knew it wasn't you. It wasn't you. Now our lives are changing. Promises keep slipping. And I always knew it wasn't you. It wasn't you. I said, go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said, whoever got next is fine with us. Go and line them up. That's fine with us. Go and line them up. Fine with us. Fine with us. Line up. I said, go and line up. Yes, fine with us. I said, go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said, whoever got next is fine with us.
Well, welcome back to Galicia, to Bayona. Going into race number 6, I think it is, of the series. Looks like the cloud has opened out very, very slightly. Visibility a bit better. We can see some land which we couldn't necessarily see during the previous race, but the breeze still seems to be in. Some confused chop there on the start line. Louise Vancer looking a little bit better in terms of visibility, and the breeze is still in.
Andy, I'm just here next to the starting line and it finally stopped raining. That's awesome. I feel a little bit of sunshine on my face, so it gets a bit warmer. It was so cold the race before, but I don't trust this very long. I can see very dark clouds over the land, like some rain clouds, so I don't know if we're gonna stay dry for this race. Might get the rain back, but that makes it so interesting, like just strategic wisely for this next race, because you have to consider the clouds. You have to try to read them and understand where they bring the wind and what kind of shifts are coming with it. So in the race before, we've seen the left side being a little bit stronger. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same for this race, but I'm also open for other surprises. And there are different kind of clouds there on the right side over the islands, then on the left side over the shores. So it will be an interesting race again, Indy.
It will indeed, but American Magic then back-to-back wins. Can they go for the full hat trick? Or can Platoon Aviation close down the team which are leading the Royal Cup? Both teams have won the Royal Cup in the past. In fact, Platoon Aviation are indeed the holders, having won it in Valencia at the back end of last season. But also Sled had a really solid race there. How are you liking the start line, Louise? What would be your strategy off this start?
So the wind in January shifted a little bit more to the left. In the race before, we had a bearing of the upwind mark for 210. Now we have 200. But the line is squared to the course, so to 200. And the course in general is 1.9 nautical miles long, so just slightly shorter than we had the race before, because we still have 18 knots in the gusts, I would say, but the lulls start to get bigger and less breeze in the lights, so like maybe 12 knots in the lights. We've seen some jib changes as well for most of the teams, so they went for bigger jibs than they had in the race before. That might change something for the speed for some kind of boats, but I still think that the boats who were going fast the race before would still go fast now this race. Now the sea state became even bigger relative to the wind strength we had. That makes it even more challenging now for the helms to steer the boat well.
Indeed, Louise, we're just coming into 1 minute before the start line. Interesting, I think. We're seeing potentially Sled repeating their starting strategy from the previous race, starting to the left of the group and building pace. They clearly liked and profited from the left last time. Further up the line, well, from the committee end of the line, we can see Value up there, Allegra more towards our end, or this left end, just to weather of Paprec. At the moment, Alcedo quite bow forward on the fleet. American Magic further up, pretty much similar to where they started last time. Actually, just a little bit behind. They might have a small problem with Alcedo just below them. We're at 15 seconds before the start. Bow comes down on Allegra. Paprec, actually in the end, American Magic do the perfect speed build. And their bow forwards already. Individual recall is bow number 1, I think. And we see straight into action. American Magic are over the start line. Well, who'd have thought? We see them having to go back. It's interesting because they were actually, for me, they were behind the group and then it started accelerating just a little bit early. So miscommunication, mistiming, and that really puts the cat among the proverbial pigeons. I thought their start was pretty accurate, but our timing is not always perfect on the live. Good start from Phoenix then, from Hasso and Tina's Hasso and Tina Platner's the South African boat. Early leaders. Vayu got off the line quite nicely as well. So could this in the end be a Platoon Aviation's chance to pull back a big number of points? They just need to sail clean from where they are at the moment. Their strategy very similar to last time. Team Vayu, the strongest of the group on this left side. And American Magic, looking at them, they're a long way back. So that really is a big upset, Louise, for American Magic. Just when they'd built a commanding lead in the regatta, we were wondering who could catch them, and in the end, it's a self-inflicted error which is costing them at the moment. That can happen at any time in this white-hot fleet, Louise, can't it?
Absolutely, Andy. I mean, we see it. It's so crucial to start like on zero with over maximum speed, because that's what they try to do. They try to go over target speed and then slowly come down again to the target speed. But it's so difficult to time this right. But oh, it's dramatic. Once you have to go back and then start to catch up from the back. On a day like today, where the left side seemed to be better in the race before, very, very difficult. That might be a difficult race here for American Magic now, but they're so far ahead at the moment in the leaderboard that it's better for us, Andy. You know, like this we will add some excitement, but I'm sorry for the team, obviously. Like, that's never good. But it allows the other teams to maybe get some better places there in front. And I really like the start from Sled there at the right side, but also Vayu on the full left. And I think you were right, like Alcedo tried to start there next to American Magic before, and that pushed American Magic a little bit under pressure. So well played there by the Italian team.
Indeed, a little bit of gamesmanship going forward early, pulling American Magic, or forcing them to pull the pin just a second or a couple of seconds makes all the difference. But straight away, Platoon Aviation are our early leaders. They have their own hands full to a certain extent, though they are pulling forward on Preveza to leeward. Phoenix are just to windward of Platoon Aviation, but Platoon Aviation are starting to dominate this little group. You can see them in our overhead. They're just to windward of Preveza and leeward of Phoenix. Let's watch the body language, how American Magic respond to this. This is a time for clear heads, cool heads. Take every advantage they can. As Terry Hutchinson's always fond of saying, now is the time to just keep chipping away. Look at the big picture, while all the time trying to make the small gains. The small gains will add up in due course. But the days are long gone in this fleet where there are easy passes. And it's fascinating, really, isn't it? Because a few seconds ago, Alcedo Vitamina were down in 9th or 10th. They got themselves up into the middle of the fleet. But really great racing, super close here now. Platoon Aviation a few seconds ago looked quite solid in their position. They are certainly pulling forward on Preveza. Preveza trying to climb up and affect Platoon Aviation, but in turn, Platoon in a drag race with Sled. Platoon in this position, Louise, don't have too many options. Just have to sail max speed, max height, not drop into Preveza.
Exactly, I think Platoon really needs to focus now, full focus on the speed, so lot of communication going on there between the main trimmer and the helm, so between Cheese and Markus Wieser, to make this boat go fast, because Sled, bow number 05, is controlling the group there on the left. They're just on top, so as long as Sled isn't tacking, none of the other boats can tack, so they're in a pretty strong position. So that means as long not one of the other boats can convert the gain here from the left side enough to be able to tack and cross, Sled is in full control of the other boats. Very interesting to see this, and they're going with great pace as well.
You're just watching Vayu, who are our early leaders on this left side. Paprec have to tack away. Vayu, of course, Manu Weiler. Manu Weiler calling tactics this season. 9th in the previous race, but in a strong position on the favoured left. Meantime, Provezza couldn't tack for Platoon Aviation. So a little bit of a waiting game for Platoon in the meantime, Louise.
Definitely a waiting game, but also a gain for Platoon, because they just seem to be slightly faster than the group here. That means they can slowly make gains, and there's not a lot of rush, because the only boat that might bother them is Sled. And Sled goes into the tack here, and Platoon Aviation is immediately following. They were really looking for Sled to finally tack, and now they have the long port tack where they have to survive here on top of Sled, but they seem to be comfortable in their speed, so I'm not too worried. But now it's full focus speed and try to cross as many boats as you can.
Indeed, so really in terms of the regatta standings, it's a fascinating situation with American Magic in 11th. Just when they were looking so strong, so impregnable, a little bit of shooting themselves in the foot. So that would be our projected points tally after this race. If all positions stayed the same. However, let's see how this transpires. We feel the left side is still strong in this breeze. Quite like the position of Alcedo, as we saw in that last shot, coming out to the left. Alcedo look to be pretty quick. Sorry, Louise. Yeah, Alcedo look to be pretty quick. They have this new rig and new sails. They're going fast on starboard, forcing Sled to duck behind them. So fascinating lineup now. Just saying, Vitamina, Alcedo, they're just still lured off having to tack underneath. Tacking underneath Sled, just squeezing up to Sled all the time. Interesting to watch how Cameron Appleton, the tactician's out giving it full hike. They need maximum righting moment to try and squeeze up to Sled. Andrea Lacorte, the new owner on the circuit. Provezza going well as well, just the weather off Platoon. But the left looks pretty strong, Louise, and the same picture that we have just now, we can see American Magic away off to leeward. Looking slightly lonely and forlorn at the moment.
Yes, Andy, from my perspective, where I'm at the moment on the racecourse, just here on top of Phoenix, the left side looks still quite strong. I thought it was great to see Alcedo coming a little bit from the right and making gains. They're just undertaking Sled, but they could just not quite cross until to the left side to go out. I wonder if this would have been an option for them to really step out to the left, but maybe they just want to play a little bit safer and still keep the option for a possible gain from the right side. We will have Teasing Machine, who will be our indicator for that, as they went almost in the right corner, so we can see from them how many gains they make or not. But I think American Magic is just not so easy. You know, once you start in the back, you really need to find your free lane, and this is almost more important than if you sail behind the other boats on the left side, because then you're slower, even though that you might be on the possible better side.
That's right, there's this domino effect where if you don't hold the preferred position, then you can end up being bounced around by the boats round about you, and you can very quickly drop places. So it's interesting to watch the balance just now. Teasing Machine very much in our mix, though out on the more on the right side, as you say, sailing in a free air and a clear lane. We're on board with Allegra just now are in 7th place. Just seeing bow number 12 there, Teasing Machine coming across. According to these images, then perhaps a little bit of a gain on that right side for Teasing Machine. Sailing quite high on starboard. Now that could also be to the, if there is a little right shift, that could be to the benefit of American Magic, who are working out to that right. They've already credited with 10th place. As you say, Louise, the key thing also is sailing in clear air. And that's one thing that American Magic have in their favour just now. They can sail to max numbers. A long way to go in this race yet, isn't there?
Yes, it's still a long way, Andy, as you just said. We are probably now entering the last third of the upwind, and there are some shifts. Like, it's difficult for me to see the shifts here from the rib, but I can definitely see a dynamic in how the bows turn up or down, and you have to be in phase of the shift. It's a gradient wind, so the shifts are still kind of defining the race, and as the wind dropped a little bit, you can actually also consider to tack on the shifts, and this might be the case now. I didn't quite see what happened on the right side, as I'm here on top of Phoenix at the left side, but for now it looks that the right side is actually crossing here the boat from the left side, which is a change than with the race before. That's so good to see. I like that.
You like that? I think if it's a little righty, then that's going to be to the general benefit of American Magic, but just looking at the way things are shaping up on the tracker, Teasing Machine certainly crossing Alcedo and Platoon just now. The big question is, do they go back? And I think they will tack back, probably covering Platoon. Allegra also having done quite well from the right. But fascinating racing, Louise. Allegra then, as I say, on board with Andy Soriano. Key change for the observant geeks among you. Key change for Allegra this season. They have wheels. So wheel steering as opposed to the tiller. That was a change they made in the latter part of the off-season after training. So they're second just now behind Teasing Machine. Privet's actually the best of the boats from the left, and Allegra have got out to the left of Privetza and Platoon. So close between the Teasing Machine and Allegra just now. And that left side, as I said, working quite well in the end for American Magic, who are staging something of a comeback. So Louise, talk to us at this weather mark. It's looking like it could be Allegra or Teasing Machine getting around. American Magic in the end, just getting stuck in the inside of the ley line, but might be able to squeeze in with potentially a 6th or a 7th, something like that, but certainly a recovery. But Louise, give us the order at the top mark.
Wow, Andy, yes. I mean, all the boats arriving at the same time at this upwind mark. Incredible. We had this big right shift coming in now at the end, which make some boats overstanding the ley line and allowing also American Magic with this incredible comeback. Impressive. Like, they were just able to sail less meters by coming in from the left ley line and then undertaking the boats that overstood the ley line. What a lineup here. All the boats arriving at the same time. This is going to be an exciting race, Andy, I promise.
Good. We see American Magic slotting in just ahead of Sled, you would have thought. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Alpha Plus coming round in 8th. 9th is Paprec, Vayu 10th. And Phoenix, who really had one of the best starts, coming away in 11th around the top mark. So all on down this first run, some slightly different opinions, just waiting to see who's jibed. Well, Platoon Aviation jibed early. Great conditions. Thankfully, slightly better visibility down this run. Privetza going well in this race. In third, behind Allegra. Allegra sailing a little bit higher, trying to roll over the top of Alpha Plus. Privetza started this regatta with a third. How do we like Platoon Aviation's choice of going left, Louise? What's your thoughts?
Good question, Andy. You read my mind. I just thought about the boats that jibe out early here. Somebody said that there was a right shift coming into that upwind mark. That would actually speak for early jibe. So what Platoon Aviation did, it's just that when you jibe so early, you still have all the bad air from the other boats, but maybe you recover fast enough, so it's actually you like sacrifice a little bit of that air to then have the gain of the shift and maybe more wind there at the right side earlier. But I can't tell this right now, to be very honest, but for now they don't look too bad here. I think it's still like now a little bit of more changeable day. I was surprised that the right side arrived so good, as well as the left at the upwind mark. That's why all the boats arrived at the same time. It was just about the positioning in the upwind mark. So I think we really have to wait this time until the end to see what side is better. In general, the wind dropped a little bit, so we see some differences actually now. going on the downwind. In the technique, the boats choose to sail these big waves downwind. Some of the boats have their staysail up, and some of the boats still sail only with their jib. This is quite interesting, and quite interesting also now to follow what boats are doing better and how the modes change between these boats.
Indeed, just watching, we're seeing certainly potentially a gain to platoon out on that left side, corresponding with a small loss in the interim to Allegra, who were just going into their jibe. Always interesting to see how the different teams set up and run their jibes. That big, huge cloud hanging over the mountains at the back of the race course there. As we see Alcedo Vitamina completing their jibe. Close with American Magic. Certainly the tracker is making a gain to Platoon Aviation, which I think should be a fairly consistent gain down that left side. Louise calling that. So if there was a right-hander, a right-hand shift coming, or a right-hand bend coming up the towards the windward mark, there'd be an equal gain going back down the left on the run. So in the meantime, teasing machine under pressure on both sides really of their downwind. Platoon Aviation just crossing behind Preveza, really only a boat length and a half in it. Out to their left is a teasing machine, really not very much in it for the top three boats. Platoon Aviation, let me see, have about 160 meters in hand over American Magic. Just watching Platoon Aviation's strategy there. I think they'll just probably jibe, I think, in front of or just cross that route behind them. The American Magic for sure seemed to have converted what could have been a potentially heavy result for them into what you'd call a counter. Preveza just crossing in front of Platoon Aviation. Teasing machine to right of picture. So really not very much in it on this run at all. But no big gains at the moment, Louise.
Andy, yes, I agree with you, not yet, but the wind got more unstable. I can see more areas with lulls and puffs. So now there will be more options. Actually, now just further in the back of the fleet, Phoenix got rolled by Vayu. Oh God. And you can really see on the drone pictures, actually, when we have the drone overshots, how sometimes the boats can really dial down. So that's when they have a gust and they can really push down the wave and accelerate big times. This is when they make super big meters. So for me right now, Teasing Machine is actually having a super good mode on this downwind and extending their lead slightly. It's good to see, but there will be more options on the next upwind because the breeze gets a little bit more unstable, Andy.
Indeed, but Teasing Machine hanging in there quite nicely. They've got 120 metres or so. Whether they can hold on and record their second win would be a big morale boost. They've had these pair of 11s, one after the other. A certain symmetry though, if they could do 1, 11, 11, 1. Reverse yesterday's scores, but a long way to go in this race yet. But great to talk with Mariana Labato then. Such a talented sailor in so many different classes and helping out on strategy on board Teasing Machine.
Once again, we are taking the course from the gate to Woodward Park, new distance 1.4, new distance 1.4, same bearing.
So breeze dropping, Louise, clearly, and correspondingly Maria Torrijos, our principal race officer, shortening the windward leg to 1.4 miles. It's Teasing Machine through the leeward gate, going round the right-hand mark in first. Second, Pravetsa.
No vale para nada, creo. Está llena de agua ya.
Platoon Aviation going on the left-hand mark, looking upwind. Louise, your thoughts?
I like what they're doing, Andy. I like what I see here from Platoon Aviation. The left side looks a little bit better at the moment. But also Allegro overtook American Magic again on that downwind. American Magic actually lost a little bit. I think they stayed a little bit too much in the middle. We've seen before that it's good to go over the outsides than rather staying in the middle. This is usually happening when the wind is like a gradient like this, you know. You always want to stay a little bit further at the outside, but still acting on the shift, so not easy at all to sail in these conditions. And I wonder if the boats who were fast, the upwind we had in this race, will be still fast now, the second upwind, as the wind actually had dropped a little bit, Andy.
Indeed. Certainly looks lighter underwater. Boats have slowed down on the visibly upwind for sure. So Al-Qaeda being probably the biggest loser on that downwind. They were 5th at the top mark, dropping to 9th just now. American Magic going into their tack. They are 6th just now. They do have quite a good lane on this left side just now for them. With Allegra just to weather off them and forward, but Allegra still going out on starboard. Tacking now.
I can see a lot of boats now taking out here from the left side as they have more pressure and the left shift, so then you actually want to tack and sail towards the right. So I think Allegro and American Magic did exactly the right thing. Also Aikido, who tacked earlier, did the right thing there. And Aikido actually just missed one little moment on that downwind. Like when all the boats jibed, they just wanted to extend a little bit further with what exactly the right thing, and then jibed slightly later, but then the pressure never really arrived to them, and that's how they unfortunately lost so much. And I think this describes quite well the conditions we're sailing in now. It's patchy, it's shifty and gusty, so you really have to make sure you sail until the pressure and act on the shifts, Andy.
Indeed, I wonder whether Platoon Aviation are starting to get the better of Teasing Machine out on this left side, as you said, Louise, pressure and shift, and they're digging into it at the moment. Teasing Machine centre or just to the left of Provezza there, Provezza in the middle. We're looking at the balance changing all the time on this racecourse. Platoon Aviation now onto port tack, converging with Provezza, and Platoon Aviation elect to duck behind. Well, feigning to for sure, and that's working quite well for them because Provezza tack inside them.
Andy, that's a proper fight there between Provezza and Platoon, because Platoon was already ready to bear away and go behind them, and that's when Provezza decided to tack in front of them, so it looked like they were just waiting for this, and now Platoon Aviation is actually in a quite difficult position there, trying to hold the lane. I hope they can still continue, but Provezza for sure will not make it any easier for them, so let's see how Teasing Machine will position themselves to them.
What do you think? Do you think Teasing Machine are going to tack on top of... Actually, there we go. They're going to attack on top of them, both boats. With Provezza take avoiding action as it were. Just John Cutler pulls the helm down, accelerates momentarily to try and break the windward effect, if you like, or the dirty air effect of Teasing Machine. Meantime, slightly to the advantage of Platoon Aviation, who are sailing a high mode just now. As you said, Louise, American Magic losing a couple of places there on the end of that run and getting into tussle with Paprec, Sled and on board briefly with Allegro.
Andy, this might be actually the moment for Allegro to make some meters good, as we have Teasing Machine, Platoon and Provezza struggling a little bit with their lanes. You know, they can't really say their own mode because they still have to consider the boats around them. There was very nice played by Teasing Machine there, and that's a good moment now for Allegro to catch up some meters.
It is indeed. This scrap between the top three boats can be to the advantage of Allegro. Meantime, as I said, American Magic very much in their own lane and clear air just now. But I think, Louise, this race is going to be decided on the second and final run.
Andy, I agree with you. We've seen the one before, how easy it is, unfortunately, to just miss a second and you're late for the gust, and the gust doesn't really come down to you. So this is not over until the boats cross the finish line.
I'm putting my money on Platoon Aviation to get their first win of the regatta. Could bet you a Kit Kat if you want.
Kit Kat. Okay, I go for the Frenchies then. Allez les Bleus. We'll see how this ends up.
Yeah, but it's difficult, isn't it, when you have three boats so close, particularly on the run. It's less easy to defend. So on board with the American Magic. This second trio, if you like, Allegra led American Magic.
It's quite interesting, Andy. I'm going up now to the upwind mark on the left side, just leeward of Allegra, and I see some pressure coming in here on the left side. So once it arrives at the boats, this will be a gain for them if we don't have the right shift again on the right side as the upwind before.
Just watching as Platoon Aviation have just wriggled behind the teasing machine. Very, very definite dug, but they're getting out to the right side of teasing machine or Platoon Aviation. Getting towards the starboard tack lay line. So we'll see how that plays out, but it's super close between certainly the top two, and as we said, if we end up with a battle, between the two leaders, it will open the door for the third position boat to make an attack down this final run.
I'm now at the upwind mark, and all the boats are lined up here, the three leading boats, so teasing machine and just behind Platoon and behind their Provezzo. So that's, I think, quite set until they're on the downwind. But then further behind, there's some fights going on. We still have to have an eye on between Sled and Allegra, but also Vayu and American Magic. American Magic just undertacked Vayu so close that Vayu had to tack out again. So now they have to probably go out behind even Allegra, so really onto the ley line. So some things in the back happening as well.
Indeed, teasing machine on ley line and looks to be quite comfortable. So teasing machine on the offset leg with platoon aviation second, chasing hard, Provetsa third. This very much has been the damage limitation exercise for American Magic Quantum Racing. So Marcus Visa on the helm of Platoon Aviation, trying to get down inside teasing machine, which of course is steered by the owner Eric de Turkheim. Provetsa behind, and then sled.
And the American Magic just went here into their jibe, so they really want to attack a little bit. They want to try something because they probably thought, oh, by just following we won't catch any boats anymore. And maybe also shift support to that, as some more boats are going into their jibes here. Phoenix jibe and also Platoon jibed. So maybe they can still catch some boats, or maybe this will be a loss. We will see this in the end, Andy.
Will all power to Platoon Aviation. The pressure is on. Teasing machine rolling into their jibe now. We'll see what Provetsa does, whether Hamish Pepper, tactician, along with the strategist Colin Parada, whether they elect to carry on.
So on the downwind before, it was better to jibe early, but we also had the right shift at the upwind mark, which we didn't have now. So it looks it's better to jibe, remembering that Alcedo unfortunately lost a little bit, and they were just extending slightly, as Provetsa does now. So I hope it won't be the same as the downwind before, otherwise Provetsa is here in a big risk. One of the only boats continuing and not jibing with the fleet. Let's see how that works out for them. There we see them grinding. We actually see both things grinding. So we see the Jenniker grinding and the main grinding. That's very interesting to see. This is the waves. You can see the rain coming in, but also the Jenniker coming in. So each time they're on a wave, they accelerate. They need to put the sails in. And I think now they get ready for their jibe. They do outside jibes here. Yesterday we've seen inside jibes with this low wind, but now in the stronger wind, so more than 10 knots more or less, they do these outside jibes, which are a little bit easier for the teams.
So Platoon Aviation, by the looks of things, making a small gain on that left side. But once again, just repeating that dynamic on platoon aviation changing for this regatta, not just with Marcus Wieser steering, but Vasco Voscoto working very much solo as tactician, missing the input of the wind whisperer Jordi Calafat. Really has a great eye for the breeze and always gives Vasco the big picture, what's happening with the wind. But obviously gets loads of input from Victor Mourinho and the runners and the rest of the team. Victor, of course, who grew up here. Another of our local heroes, but Platoon Aviation have gained maybe 10 metres at the moment. But do we feel they're running out of runway, Louise?
Andy, maybe slowly, but they haven't jibed yet. And now, as I'm talking about, they're rolling into their jibe. So this is actually now the moment we can see if they can convert again or not. Before it was difficult to judge. So now they sail on opposite jibes, and hard to say from my perspective how much they gained. We will see later, but they probably made some gains, Andy.
We'll see they are converging just now, the two boats. A little bit more light on that left side. Now there you go, you get a great image. And of course Platoon Aviation on starboard jibe. Not sure they'll come right into Teasing Machine deciding to jibe, and it's a relatively slow jibe, stalling very slightly as they go through, and that has to be to the advantage of Platoon Aviation. Taking a few seconds just to build speed again, but fascinating, and Platoon Aviation jibe away. Starting to think about that Kit Kat, Louise.
My Kit Kat. Hot chocolate would be good as well now. But yeah, like jibes always need to be spot on, and especially in a moment like this where you have to jibe on top of a boat. I mean, this needs to be perfect. Parfait en français. And this was semi-parfait. But it's not over yet, Andy. I can see some pressure coming down here, so let's go Teasing Machine. But maybe this was actually the chance for Platoon Aviation. They made some super good games there, really putting Teasing Machine under pressure. They're on starboard, like pointing on them with great pace, which then made Teasing Machine doing the semi-parfait jibe. So now Platoon Aviation is jibing again. They are on lay line for the finishing line. Teasing Machine still needs to do a jibe. And then we will see who will be in front. Who will be the winner of the Kit Kat?
Who will be in the chocolates. But really, you know, Eric Turkheim and the team said they're here to learn, to practice, to hone their skills, to polish everything up ahead of the Admiral's Cup. And that jibe is a learning process there for them. Just not executing, as you said, Louise, at 100%. So let's see how they converge back to Platoon Aviation. Of course, pro driver on Platoon Aviation in Marcus Wieser. Still lots of things happening, but things moving in the right direction for Platoon Aviation in the big picture. Second, we think, in this race. Even a second in this race would move them up probably to second or third overall in the regatta.
Andy, I can see some pressure coming here down with Teasing Machine. They seem to have a little bit more wind than Platoon Aviation. Let's see if they can cross in front or if they get early enough in the protection of the finish line.
And nonetheless, it would be the best day of the season so far for Platoon Aviation, whether or not they're first or second in this race. They will be the top boat of the day. And here they go, rolling into their jibe at the moment. Teasing Machine come in with speed below them, but I think that it will be the German team on Platoon Aviation winning race number 6, just pipping the French team of Teasing Machine on the finish line. Teasing Machine in the end slightly disappointed, but they sailed a really great race, and it was an opportunist's finish for Vasco Vascotto and the team on the 2023 52 Super Series champions. Provezza coming through for third place, matching their third place in the first race. American Magic, I think, then just stealing fourth. Great recovery from them, considering they were over the start line and were away back in 11th. Stealing fourth ahead of Sled. So a good day for the German team on Platoon Aviation. Very, very disappointed after Saint-Tropez. They'd never been last, and so many sailors on that boat have never been last on a regatta before. But they are progressively recovering. And of course that is their first race win of the season. But American Magic coming away with fourth. Good damage limitations, as I said. The initial being over the line was very much self-inflicted. To a great extent, I think we're pulled forward by Alcedo. Alcedo pulled the pin just a little bit earlier, and American Magic, I think, went with them. Quite a good recovery as well for Phoenix, getting 7th, considering they were 11th at the top mark. Paprec 8th, Alpha Plus 9th, Alcedo 10th. Vayu, remember Vayu were leading at one point on that first upwind, but an 11th for them in the end. But fascinating racing, Louise, once again. Nice to see the clouds open very, very slightly. Certainly a better race for visibility and seeing what was going on, and good to see the recovery for Platoon Aviation. What's your conclusions for the day, Louise?
Andy, that was incredible. I mean, Platoon Aviation had an outstanding day with a second and a first place. This is really, really strong. Well done. They were fast today, and I think this is the most important, because that's what made them struggle the last days. And now they're back to speed. But also, a day full of excitement, comebacks, dramas, and battles. This last downwind here between Teasing Machine and Platoon. Wow, what a drama with that jibe. But also the comeback of American Magic after starting last, being over the line, and still managed to finish 4th. Incredible.
Incredible. Let's look at the results then as they stand. So there we go. After 6 races, say the fantastic thing about this Royal Cup Regatta here in Galicia is we're bang on schedule. 6 races sailed over the 3 days, 4 races left, and American Magic Quantum Racing, Doug DeVos's team, are leading on 14 points. They are 16 points up on Platoon Aviation, who are now moved up to second. Strongest team of the day with a 2 and a 1. Paprec are still hanging in there in third, 33 points. They're a point clear of Alcedo Vitamina, who had a really quite a tough day with a 7 and a 10. They're in fourth. Allegre in fifth on 36, a point ahead of Sled, who are sixth on 37. Provezza on 39 in seventh. Phoenix eighth on 40. Teasing Machine, very interesting scoreline to say, 1-11-11-2. So a real up and down, a roller coaster couple of days for the French team at their first regatta this season. In ninth, Vayu in 10th on 44 points. They're on the same points as Teasing Machine and Alpha Plus, 1 point behind in 11th place. So really fascinating scorelines after 6 races. There are the regatta leaders, American Magic Quantum Racing. We have 2 days of racing left. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for your great work, great insights, Louise. Hopefully you'll thaw out very quickly and maybe some sunshine tomorrow. Do join us then for the penultimate day of the Galicia 52 Super Series Royal Cup here in Bayona. Thank you for joining us.
I said go and line up. Whoever got next is fine with us. Line up. I said whoever got next is fine with us.